Could you draw us an oligarch?
I'm just trying to see what I have in terms of Sharpies. I don't know. I thought, hold on one second. Let me just take a look.
Let me just grab a pen, a good pen. Not that one. I'm really pleased to be able to talk with Robert Reich, who's joining us from California, who really needs no introduction whatsoever. So welcome to Punchlines.
Well, thank you, Matt.
And first off, I want to talk to you about these great videos that you are producing on a regular basis with Inequality Media.
It really comes from a conversation I had with my son. He said, Dad, my generation really responds to videos and graphics and visual cues. I've spent much of the last 40 years doing things that my son's generation doesn't really absorb very well. I thought, well, maybe there's an opportunity here.
I wanted to talk a little bit about your new book, The System, which it's all words. You didn't have one cartoon in here, which was really disappointing to me.
It was disappointing to me too. I've been in and out of politics for years. I don't really come across bad people. I come across, people who are like to think of themselves as very concerned about social justice, but they don't look at the system as a whole and don't really think about changing it.
There's been this steady march over the last 40 years of economic inequality that's a product, as you point out in the book, of the influence of money growing over time, influencing more and more changes and regulations.
People very often say back to me, well, what's wrong with Jeff Bezos making that much money? I mean, he invented something that is terrific called Amazon. Well, it's not a matter of right and wrong. It's a matter of, do you want a system in which you have a very narrow, small group of people who are making unbelievable amounts of money and taking some of that money and putting it into politics so that you don't get any constraint on them.
And these are the people that in your book you refer to as the oligarchs.
The oligarch is a good old Greek word referring to a relatively small number of people who have all the wealth and power.
We've had different symbols that cartoonists have used for these oligarchs and plutocrats. We've settled on the little monopoly man with the monocle or something like that. I'm partial to drawing fat cats, but could you draw us an oligarch? Is there like a Robert Reich?
Oh, well, there's what you want with a drawing. I mean, let me just give you a quick example. What you want with a drawing is something that symbolizes very quickly for people what you're talking about. You don't want it complicated. But ideally, you also want to show them able to control the puppets, the strings, have strings, of politicians. And so what you really need is an image of a lot of people who are really being controlled by, directly and indirectly, the oligarchy. There's another person who I'm just going to sketch for you. I'll see if this rings any bells.
Don't you love the hair? The hair makes it so easy. Yes.
I could just do this and without anything else, and you would know it. But he's the champion of the oligarchs. What oligarchy does is it generates populist movements in response to the oligarchy. Populism is co-opted by the oligarchs themselves, who use it to actually channel rage and anger against minorities, against foreigners, kind of jingoism, xenophobia, racism.
There was this pent-up fury at being shafted by the system, as you talk about in the book. It was exactly that Trump harnessed in 2016.
Exactly. What is happening with taxes and what's happening with regulations and rolling back health and safety and environmental regulations and helping the rich every chance he has. Trump is a champion of the oligarchs in the sense that he is a Trojan horse. That is, he comes in. A lot of people who are his supporters think that he's for them. He's for the working man. He's for the working woman. But actually, he isn't.